Hey everyone, it's Nelson Miller here with PA Creative, and today I have an exciting update for our Divi Events Calendar plugin. This is version 2.1, and it has a ton of new features and improvements. So I want to show you all of those here in this video. I'm really excited. Let's take a look at this. All right, so here we go, 2.1. This is our biggest update, obviously, since 2.0. And 2.0 was rather big. It added, the events page module and the carousel module, and changed the events feed and calendar, majorly improving those. This one is not the same, version number jump like 3.0, but it could be. It really is big. And just to start off, I recommend just maybe checking the changelog. I mean, obviously this video and this post, but just take a look at the changelog. Do you see how long I had to scroll down through there? So these are all really good things. All right, let's take a look at this post. So I say right here, you kind of see like a warning or whatever. But basically, we're just saying to read a post that we have about before updating. It's basically, there's a couple of things you need to know, and we're going to touch on them. But I say that, we have to say that, because if you don't do that and you don't check your events feed module especially, it may change. So just really be sure you do read the important update information. You really need to. There's a couple changes. So let's start in here. The new events feed module features. What am I talking about here? Responsive layout structure. So in the past, you could choose like list, and you could choose like the image on the left, details right, or top and bottom, whatever. Now we've totally gone away from that, and we made it a lot clearer, but gave you a lot more features. Now we have grid, list, or cover. So let's go look at the demo really quick of that. In fact, we have a new demo site. It's just, you used to be able to go to divieventscalendar.com/demo1. Now it's just divieventscalendar.com. So we were going to do multi-site, and we were going to do multiple demos, but we decided not to do that the way we were doing it. So now the demo is just divieventscalendar.com. And so here we are on modules. So we're going to click a page, go to events feed, and then under events feed, we have documentation, the settings list, and layout options. Layout options is what we want right there. Here is grid layout, and it looks like image on top, details on bottom. You should notice some differences if you were a customer before. This is a call out box. This is brand new. You can choose your date, month, year, all that stuff. Labels and icons, the button, image top, details bottom. Then we have list layout. List is very similar to what you were familiar with before. See, there's image and details. Or you could do a call out and, the date or whatever you want over there. The month, the year. See, you have call out, image, details button, and then you have some opposite ones. See how it's like various different layouts you can choose. That's all in the module settings. Now we have cover layout, and this one's kind of exciting. A lot of people ask for this. So the featured image will automatically fill the background, so it's sort of going to be cropped, I guess, a little, it has to be physics, to fill, but that can fill the background. So that's an option. So when you go in the module, now you have those options. So by default, it will go to grid. That's why I was saying, if in the past, if you had like a list layout, you're going to need to check it. It's going to default to grid when you update. It really will. There was no way we could avoid that. Here you can see design tab layout. So first I choose grid, list, or cover, and then I can choose the number of columns. If I choose list, well, then I get all these options. Do I want it, call out image details bottom, or maybe I want it image details, whatever you want. Maybe I want it 2 columns there. Cover, then choose your columns and all that. So that's how that works. Brand new layout system. And that was just the first item. We're going too long here. Default styles, you may have noticed that a lot of I actually didn't style this stuff. Where was I? Right here. This right here is by default, except for the buttons. We're not able to do the buttons. We even asked Divi, and there's no way for developers to style the buttons by default. But everything else is default. It's going to look like this when you install the module. It's going to already be pretty and attractive rather than ugly, okay? And that applies to all the modules. Actually, the calendar and the feed. Okay, here we go. Default styles. We already talked about the call out box. You can put the day of the week in there, the year, the month, all that stuff. Details, we made the details its own thing. What I mean by that is like this whole block here, you could put a background on there. I should just be in here. All right, so like in here, I'll just show you what I mean by details. In the design tab, you'll see now it just says details. So let's say I wanted to make the background of the details something, add margin, spacing, see that, and you're affecting the details area. And that would apply to any layout. All right. Events order setting. So now you can choose ascending or descending. Back here in the content is going to be, well, that's another one, event status, future or past. We used to kind of have that, but it was like a different setting type. So events order is what I was saying, ascending or descending. And again, you could choose event status and those kind of work together. No message. So like when you have, I don't know, like let's say you selected some categories here, you know, or whatever it was here, and there was no results. There's no events that match that. Well, now there's a no results message right here. I can say whatever here, right? And when there's no events here, it's gonna say whatever. And then I can style it with new settings for that right here, you know, normal text settings. So there you go. So you could say, like, instead of just saying, oh, there's no results or whatever it says. So you could say something like, oh, we're sorry, you know, there's no events in this category, or I don't know, whatever it is that you're doing. Okay. Recurring events. Now, recurring events are part of the Events Calendar Pro. That's not in the free version in the WordPress repository. But a lot of you are using the Pro, so that's fine. So you needed a way to control that. Do you want to show recurring events or not? You might have an event every Monday, for example, or every other Saturday, or the first of each month. Whatever it is that you're doing with their plugin, now they will show up in the feed. So you don't have to worry about that. In fact, we have a toggle here, right here. It's on by default, show recurring events. So if you did not want to show recurring events, for some reason you wanted to turn that off in this particular module, you could have maybe a separate module with them, whatever. Now you have that setting to do that. Featured events. So in the events calendar, you can make an event featured. There's a little check mark. If I go visit this page and edit the page, you'll see that. But anyway, now there's a setting in here. Unfortunately, it only show featured events. You won't be able to show featured and other ones. But that's fine. You could make have like a grid here, like have this headline, featured events right here, and then these would be the 3 featured events. So it kind of works out. Pagination, we added a new type of pagination in this module. We call it numeric, and it's right in here. When you enable pagination, you have load more button and paged, and now you have numeric. Basically, it looks like this. There's going to be numbers and last and first, kind of like if you were using WP Page Navi, like on a Divi blog. I have a tutorial on that, but kind of the same thing. You click the numbers. That's new. Labels and icons, it's a new setting. Oh, and date range separator. That's kind of a surprisingly popular request, so I'll show you what I mean by that. The little thing between the dates here, and like if it says at, you know, the at symbol or the dash symbol in events settings. So under display right here, down here, you see this little at symbol and a time range separator. If you change those now, I mean, you might want to say the word at, like you literally might want to say at, right? Or you might, instead of a dash, you might want to say 2, you know, like 925 or something, right? It'll show up in the events feed, okay? CSS category. So one interesting thing about that, so basically it's kind of hard to explain, but basically if I was to grab this right here, music, I could go over here in my inspector tool, and you can see that it says ECS category music, and you could style the music tag right here. I could make the background red, and it would style the tag, not the event, but like the tag. So anywhere there's like a red tag in my whole page here or website, you would know red means music, right? You could kind of do that kind of thing. So there you go. Support for HTML, For some reason that's a popular request. I'm not sure what you guys are doing with the excerpts, but I thought excerpts were just for, a summary. But if you wanted HTML in here, it's supported now. So there you go. Now let's move on to the calendar. Default styles is one of the first things you would notice if you go there. In fact, let's just hop around here, right here. By default, now this is what it looks like. It literally looks like this by default. Remember how it was before? It was kind of ugly. Notice a lot of things. The tooltip is improved. There's more spacing. The box shadow is a little different. There's the date format's fixed. There's the category in there. There's the view website button. Yeah, we just majorly improved this and set a lot of defaults. Here you can style every bit of this hover on the buttons. Now we have new layouts. Look at this. Week, day, list. Okay, I don't have enough demo events set up right here. But if I choose week, like it would show the events here. In fact, I could click today, or actually, yeah, there's one. Day, which day has an event? There's one. It would show like the time, and then the same thing. The tooltip shows up there, like when I hover like that, and then list. See that? Hover over the list, and it would make a list down through here of all of the events. Well, there was a couple. So these are brand new. You can choose to show or hide these. You do not need to leave these on. You can hide these buttons. You can just show maybe month and week, or whichever you want to do. Maybe you want to set week as default for some reason, or you only want to show week. You might want to go to a page that says weekly events, or I don't know. Now you can do that. Okay. Now I'm off track. So views, default styles, recurring events, same exact thing. Featured events, same exact thing in this module. They will show up or turn them on or off. You could have featured events or the recurring events there. Now the order by day, it's not supposed to be order there, so forgive me. So basically it means like if I had multiple events in this block right here, on the 29th here, how would I know which one should come first? Do you want to order them by time, by the duration of the event? There's another one, but anyway, there's 4 options there. I guess I could just show you, All right, go in here, and so there's all that stuff right here. Start time, duration, all day, and title. Okay, so all day, like if you wanted your all day events to be first. So it's going to be like hierarchical. So most of the time you would probably put start time because you want your morning events, but not necessarily because you might want it based on something else. So there you go. There you can see the other settings. Same thing with the date range separators. And for that, it's referring to the tooltip. When you hover, it'll show that in the tooltip. First day of the week. That's interesting. So back in WordPress settings right here, I think it's under general. Down here, look, week starts on Monday, right? So it's on Monday there by default. And if I get out of here, see, it's showing Monday. And apparently in other countries or something, that's a big deal. I had no idea. So like I want it to start on Sunday, I guess, right? Sometimes we think of it that way. So let's refresh. And just like that, the calendar is set to start on Sunday. How cool is that? I'm really proud of that. I think a lot of our international customers are going to appreciate that. New updated formatting. It matches the events feed. The events feed was kind of perfected, so we're kind of catching up on that. Design settings. There's just so many design settings. I can't list them all. I don't even want to take the time. So everything you see has design settings. So heading text, this used to be called the month text, but now it's not month because you can change it to other things, right? So everything, navigation buttons, the view buttons, you could make them different colors. You could make the active one a different color. Tooltip, all these things here we have. The events, the calendar days. We added more calendar days, like current days, current day text, past day text color, all this stuff. I feel like we've covered it. I literally feel like we've covered it now. And there is so many more in the changelog. If you check the changelog, it's even longer, like little fixes and minor things that aren't worth putting in this video. But okay, events page, module features. Some of these are going to be the same. Labels and icons. Similar support for HTML in the description. Don't be using this description unless you need to. The original goal of having this was, I'll just show you here, was for simple descriptions, simple events. What I found out is a lot of people are trying to use it for a lot more. And you should be using Divi's modules. Like, we don't have an image module. Why would we? Divi has one. You should be using your featured image feature in Divi. Same with title and excerpt and everything. But we have one in here called description. And I almost regret adding it. Here it is, show event description. And we should probably make that off by default. But instead of doing that, I recommend using the post content module. It's going to take everything no matter what. Okay, and that's one of the biggest questions I get. But now it is working. It wasn't working well for like HTML and line breaks and all that, but now it is. So you're fine to use it now, but I'm still saying it's not really what it was made for. It's meant for like putting a paragraph in. Okay. Past events. Yeah, now you can design, there's like a little message for an event that has passed. All right, so obviously like this one's in the past now when I'm recording this. This event has passed. So right there, it looks really ugly. I can adjust the spacing, the background, the border, box shadow, colors, size, everything now. I can do all of that now. All right, dynamically show or hide items. This was kind of a technical one because you would go into like a theme builder template and you'd be in here and you would say, maybe you'd say turn on event, or turn on the map or the organizer or the venue and all of that. And what would happen is there'd happen to be an event where you didn't want the map, or you forgot to add an address, or you forgot to add the organizer, you didn't want an organizer. Well, it would be showing something because it didn't know. It thought it was supposed to be there because you put it there, right? So the point of this is that if you, like, say it for one of your events, you don't put an organizer, it's not going to show anything. Or you don't put the address in for that event, it's not going to show the map. Even if you have Show Google Map turned on in the template, if you happen to have some events that don't have it and some that don't, it's fine. It's going to be dynamic now. Okay, so that's all solved. The last thing here, I guess it's probably the last, the button, add the calendar link. So we used to use whatever the events calendar had, and I'm all for going above and beyond because why be limited by what they have? Now we changed this, and now you can say show add to calendar button, and you'll see that we have added Google Calendar link, Apple Calendar, and Outlook. Okay, when you click this button, there's only going to be one button now, and when you click that, I guess I need to get out of here. Instead of having all three buttons, I just didn't like it. Maybe you're going to disagree and be upset at me. I just didn't like it. But here, let's go ahead and refresh this one. For example, add to calendar. You'll only click this once and then the links will appear. So I could choose to show or hide each of these, right? And then I could click this and it's going to add it to my Google Calendar. It's going to open up Google Calendar here, right? It's great. I just felt like I saw it on some other websites where you click that button and then these pop in, and I really liked it, and it just feels a lot better. Plus we added, Google, Apple, and Outlook. Okay, so that's the events page. There is a new module, and don't get too excited, but it's just we snuck it in at the last minute. It's called Events Page. It's made for the free event ticket plugin. I don't know what I just said. It's called Events Ticket. I think I said page. You would use it on the events page is what I was thinking, trying to catch up to my mouth. So you would use it on your events page in the theme builder template with the events page module, perhaps not. So it's when you're using this add-on right here. It's called Event Tickets. It's it's by the events calendar. It's free. You can RSVP and buy tickets, right? In Divi, there was no way to show that. There was no shortcode. There's no output when you're using the theme builder. So we're like, oh, we should solve that problem. And so we solved the problem. It's limited at this point. We didn't have time to add settings and all that stuff. It just wasn't a priority. In fact, here, I'll show you. Here's some explanation of all that. Here's how it's going to look inside the visual builder. It's going to look not the nicest, but on the front end, don't worry. That's how it will look. You'll have to set up PayPal and all that for that to even work. But that's, again, this is we're just showing this. We're nothing to do with the tickets and RSVP. We're just allowing you to show it in Divi. That's all this module is doing. You're gonna have to go to their website and their plugin and everything for documentation and all that. Our plugin again is just showing and eventually customizing their data, and that's how all of our modules work. Now let's talk about general improvements. What we did is we took all of the scripts that our plugin is using, like for the calendar, there's JavaScript that's running, right? The carousel, the grid, even all of the code we took and we put it on a CDN, a content delivery network that's made specifically for delivering those kinds of files very, very, very quickly. And so it actually reduced our plugin size 37%. And that is on top of all these hundreds of new features. So adding these new features, you don't have to worry. The performance is going to be a lot better even. It's crazy. We also fixed, there was what we call a query issue. It was a query leak, and it was only happening on certain circumstances. You may have seen a couple of different people being like, oh, my site's so slow. It takes like 20 seconds. Well, it was a very specific issue with a very specific combination of plugins and all that. So that's all solved. So we've got that solved. We did a bunch of tests, and I'm telling you what, there's nothing at all major as far as performance adding our plugin. Like, it is good. It is. And then plugin support, basically that option, that's saying we added a couple things. Like there's a plugin called Events Calendar Shortcode and Block. In layman's terms, we were fighting over the same code. When that plugin was installed with ours, people would get an error. So we fixed that. So it's kind of one of those things. Are we going to blame it on them or us? We just did it, and it solves that. Another one is this interesting extension that allows you to click on the titles. So anywhere when that plugin's installed, and I click like an event in the calendar here, like if I click this right here, it will go to the event website. If I click this title, it will go to the event website. It would be the same thing for like in the feed here. If I clicked on, the more info in this, it would go to this event website. People like that. That maybe their events on Zoom or wherever, ticket one of those Eventbrites or whatever, those kind of things. That kind of works. So if you do happen to use that, don't worry, we got you covered. That is it. We have new demos. I talked about that in documentation. We're working on improving our documentation. In fact, if you're in here, you may have already noticed we kind of have the breadcrumb thing going on here. If you go to let's say you go to events feed and then the settings list for events feed, you'll see, it's events calendar, modules, events feed, settings list. But there you go. We are working on adding more guides, and it's kind of one of those things. How many guides do we need? Do we need a guide specifically on layout, specifically on call out options or details, pagination, that kind of thing? I'm not sure. I'm not convinced. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention, when you click load more, now you can choose how many events load. Like they're 3 loaded. I could have said 6 in the settings, or I could have said 9 or 1 or 2, whatever. Let's see. Here's this numeric thing I was talking about. I forgot to style it, but I'll style that. But there you go. And then just normal paged. Okay, getting off topic. That is it. And that was long. That's because it took us like 5 months to work on this. Let us know what you want to see next. We are working on a major update also. I don't know if I should say it or not, but you'll soon see it. We are working on search and filter, and that's going to be one of the next big updates. We're gonna continue. We have other ideas as well. Let us know. There's probably going to be bugs. There's a big update. Be sure to read the important update information. All that's saying is basically like check your modules. Read the post that we just looked at. Here's how you do updates. Be sure you're clearing your cache. Here's a couple of things I've found. In fact, I'll mention this. I noticed like if I install 2.0.3, the old version, and then 2.1, it just sometimes takes a little. Like you'll go to the page and you're like, oh, this didn't change. Just give it some time for the cache to clear. But also, what I found that works almost instantly is open the module, exit the module, don't even do anything, and exit the page, and just like that, do a hard refresh, Control Shift R, Command Shift R, those types of things. Do the hard refresh and all that. And at last resort, you could replace the module. Just go below your module, add a new one, because it changed so much. Here's kind of the thing that I mentioned earlier. Previous layouts, whatever the previous layout was, it's going to be grid now. If you want to put it back onto what we call list now, feel free to do that. I'm very sorry. We had to do it. There was no way around that. It shouldn't change the styling. In all of our tests, it didn't change anything like that. It changed, put the image on top, details on the bottom. Check your calendar buttons. If I don't know, I'm not sure. I checked a couple of times, but it seems to work pretty good. But again, that's totally new. Review the modules, get familiar with it. Let us know what bugs you have. All right, that is it. I am excited. I hope you're excited, and hope you're excited that we continue to put in, literally tens of thousands of dollars worth of development and time. I mean, staying up late for months, all this kind of thing. I'm hoping you appreciate it and see the value in it, and especially in being a member of our Divi Adventure Club, the all access pass there. And so I hope you enjoy that as well. All right, so there you go. That's all the new settings and features and improvements and all that with the Divi Events Calendar 2.1. So if you're not already using this, I just want you to know that we continue to improve. We have a vision for the future as well. We're working on more and more updates, a lot more features coming soon. So that's what you get with this plugin. You get support and you get a continual improvement. And you can see that over all of the releases that we've had over the past couple of years. So hope you guys found this useful and exciting, and let us know, what new features you'd love to see. We are working on a lot of new ones, but we love taking your feedback. That's very important to us as well. All right, well, we'll see you guys in our next video.